understand what the experience is kind of like. Because I think one of the scary things for people is that it feels like something that's completely different or foreign to them. So the idea is just to get your idea about what the experience is like. So anyway, that's how the camera works. Not too bad the directional mic is.
No, it's not too bad.
So let's just try to keep it as natural as possible.
Sure,
That's probably the
sure.
easiest thing.
Yeah.
So Martin, with the program that we put you on, what was the main purpose that you decided to go on it?
Well, I came to see you, and I was infrequent in my visits to you.
Yeah.
I wasn't in very good shape, and you suggested to me that if I didn't do something about that my risk of long-term health deterioration was high, and that I'd probably at some point have a pretty major event.
Yeah.
So I went away, and you gave me some things to read, and I sort of I think the thing that really was my motivation was thinking about how selfish it would be to leave Sarah, my partner, on her own just because I couldn't stop putting things in my mouth, pretty much. So it was a realization that actually if I didn't do something, there was probably going to be a pretty bad outcome. So then post that, coming back to see you and getting onto the program, we went away to Bali on holiday for 10 days straight after that, and so we went cold turkey there in terms of carbs, which is not easy to do in Bali.
Especially when you're on holiday, right? Because
yeah, but you know, those that have been to Bali will know that a lot of it's sort of you go and get a villa and a pool and all that sort of stuff, and they come and cook you breakfast each morning and stuff like that. But actually, when we started then looking at the food that we were buying in the supermarket there, and also the food in restaurants, we just ended up starting to eat food without rice or food without noodles, so we just started to do that.
Well, I guess that's the thing that a lot of people think about, like how easy or hard is it to actually change the way you eat?
Well, we got a lot of support from other people, from you and the team here. Just simple things like going and purging the pantry, for instance. Yeah. Just getting all that stuff out and gone. And we took, I think I told you, we just put it all in 2 boxes and took it to the food bank. So it was out of the house. It wasn't even. So it wasn't a case of one night come home and
eat it all.
Yeah, exactly. So actually making the change and how hard it was, I actually think the support we got was good. The thing that we did, I did, and Sarah decided that she'd do it as well with me.
And that really helps, right? When everyone in the house does it.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't have children, but you know, we didn't have to cook 2 meals every night. She wasn't saying, "Oh, I can't live without potatoes," or "I need my rice," or whatever the case may be. And she is not certainly not overweight like I am, but she has lost a good amount of weight as a result of this and feels really good too. So the byproduct's been seeing her do that, but not having to cook 2 meals. And also, we went and I definitely went and told my whole team at work. I've got quite a big leadership group that I'm fortunate to lead. And pretty much everybody that I interacted with, I told them why I was doing it, because I didn't want them thinking, "Oh, geez, he's losing a lot of weight, he must be ill or got
cancer
disease or something." Yeah,
that's because that's one of the things a lot of people say to us. They meet friends and friends will ask them if they've had cancer. So it's funny how people assume the worst.
I haven't had anyone directly say it to me, but I'm sure it's been thought. I'm seeing someone today actually for coffee who I haven't seen for a couple of years, and for a variety of reasons, and I'm sure that he will observe on it. People do, so getting that level of support, being quite upfront with people about what you're doing, also brings a level of accountability and expectation that they have, because they hear lots of people talk about going on a diet, right?
Yeah.
They probably do it themselves, and they're probably thinking, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, we know you. You'll be back to eating potatoes and burgers, and we know you, you know."
And speaking of which, how long have you been on this, and what's the, I guess what I'll call stickability like?
Well, it was October last year that we went to. It was a year. It's a year.
It's about a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was October last year that we went to Bali, and we've been on it the whole time. So we haven't. We've changed. I think I've said to you previously. We've changed the way that we live and eat now. And I was a big guy for breakfast, right? Like breakfast was a big thing for me. I was brought up in a household where we were told breakfast is most important. Yeah, all those old adages. And so breakfast also was a very social thing for me. I'd have breakfast meetings and then I'd have, eggs on toast and I thought I was doing the right thing. I still have those meetings now, but I either drink water or I have a latte and on the odd occasion I'll have breakfast with the person, or with that particular group. But it is the odd occasion, and that's been a big change.
I think that's one of the things we wanted to focus on. It's more about changing people's habits, right? Because I think if you need to do something through sheer willpower, it's just not really stickable.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like it's much more habitual for you now. You just sort of wake up and kind of just do it.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that I've reflected on is that in my work career and even in my sporting career, if we can call it that, I was pretty disciplined.
Right.
But I'd become really indisciplined when it came to eating. So, in my work, I'm pretty focused and I like to succeed, and that's been, and I've done, I think I've done pretty well. So those disciplines that I have there were completely out the window in other things. I could easily sit there and eat a packet of biscuits, watching TV, or have a bar of chocolate.
But I guess given that discipline is part of your personality, it was almost transferable in a sense once you sort of make the change.
Now I feel that, but at the time, lots of times I'd sat there going, righto, this week it'll be the last week that I eat all that crap, and then next week I'm going to change, and it didn't happen. It just didn't happen, and yet at work I might go, right, we're not making progress here. Next week we're going to get together, agree some things, and we're going to change, and we do.
Yeah.
So I think that the key thing was maybe it was easier for me to put that onus on other people than myself.
Yeah.
And psychologically, I had to really just confront the fact that if I don't do something about this, and the program that you give us to go through, you've got to write down what your motivations are, and that's not easy because you actually have to confront some pretty real things about mortality, about your relationships. But if you can get through the motivation of why you're doing it, even if you just want to do it to feel better, even if you had no relationships and you had no life, but you just wanted to feel better, I fundamentally feel better.
I mean, talking about feeling better, I think you mentioned to me that things like you notice that you haven't gotten gout again, the blood pressure seemed better. Interestingly, we find that for a lot of people too, just from a convenience perspective, they find that shopping for clothes and all that just becomes a lot easier too. It's one of those sort of more hidden things that people don't mention, but...
I'll tell you a funny story about that. We were in Queenstown for a weekend in winter, this winter just gone. And there's a Barker's store, Barker's menswear clothing store. And years ago, I stopped having their stuff because they cut their sizes down, right? They didn't. So I think they just decided no more Barker's for fat people. So
market too small.
Yeah.
Or?
Well, I don't think it is. But anyway, you have to walk around the streets to see that. But actually, I couldn't get their stuff, and I really like their stuff. Especially, it's really track pants as well.
Yeah.
So we're in there, and Sarah said, "Well, why don't you try on a pair of the track pants?" I said, and even this is sort of 9 months into this thing, and knowing I've lost some weight, and so I went in and tried them on, and they were just perfect, and so that was a real celebration between her and I can go into a normal store now and buy normal clothes.
Yeah.
And actually, even things like my shirts, the shirt I'm wearing today is, 3 sizes smaller than what I started. But I still buy it from the place that sells all the big shirts.
Yeah.
Right? So they're called, they're a big and tall store in Auckland here. And so, But I've now got a wardrobe full of size 52 shirts that are going to, I think this weekend they're all getting packed up, and they're going to the St John's or the Red Cross.
So
store.
just like the food, someone else benefits again.
Yeah, there'll be somebody out there wearing my shirts, and some of them actually I'm quite attached to, so I'm going to have a bit of separation anxiety going on with that. But no, that is one of the byproducts of it. And look, having the cost of going and buying a new wardrobe is the best cost you can have.
Yeah, that's something you're happy to spend on, I think.
Yeah, and certainly I spend the money going the other way.
Yeah.
And there's now shirts that I've got in my wardrobe that I can wear that I couldn't wear. So last weekend I had a short sleeve shirt on that previously would have been really tight.
Yeah.
Now it's sort of like this.
You know, I noticed that when I did this kind of stuff 2 years ago, because, you know, I don't get you guys to do stuff that I don't do, because I think it's not fair.
No, you're crazy. You do some crazy stuff.
But what I noticed was when I lost a bit of weight, one of the things I noticed was that when I bought trousers, I no longer have to adjust the length, because now I'm just the right waist for length ratio. So I haven't had to alter any pants for 2 years.
I've got the thing with my thighs are bigger than my hips, I think. So I end up having sort of trousers that are a little bit baggier. But the thing I'm noticing, I mean, Sarah had to go and buy me a leather punch for my belts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are all little wins.
Yeah.
That you and it creates that sort of momentum into it, and so. Yeah, shopping for clothes is one thing that gives you encouragement. Yeah. But I think that you mentioned before about the gout and those sort of things. I mean, I just didn't appreciate, how debilitating that was.
Yeah.
How living with permanent pain that was resolvable.
Yeah. And
it was funny. 2 years, I think, before you got me onto this program, Sarah was saying to me, I think there's something about this sugar thing in gout. And I'm going, no, it's all about red wine and mussels and eating seafood. And I can eat all that stuff now. And I don't get gout. So, so she was absolutely on the money. And now that we've done a lot more, not just reading, but listening to people and watching stuff that's going on, you know, I just don't get gout anymore, and that is a massive. I mean, getting up and down.
It's a life thing.
Well, getting up and down a flight of stairs at work. You know, some days would be a real effort, and added to that is a whole lot of extra weight on all those joints as well, which doesn't help. I'm pretty pleased about it.
Well, hey, thanks very much for your time, Mark.
You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll catch you later.
Good.